Attention!
Ma'am, yes ma'am. Simon Hill, reporting for duty. Episode 121 of Silent and Acting Movie Reviews. Ma'am.
That's so bad.
What's up, everybody? My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary, and I'm here with my beautiful wife. Say hi, boo.
Hi, everyone. This is Akti, and I'm from Turkey. And today we are reviewing the Netflix movie 6888.
Yes, this is the 2024 American war / drama / office drama / swirling sensation, a Tyler Perry creation with cameos from Oprah, Kerry Washington, a woman named Ebony Obsidian as the main actress, as Lena Derricotte Bell King, the main character. A lot of all-stars in this thing. We also have Sam Waterston from Law and Order. We also have Milana Jackson. What was she in acting?
She was the second captain next to Kerry Washington.
Okay, yes. So a lot of beautiful black women in this thing. This film is about an all-black female battalion that was sent to Europe in World War II, the only all-female black battalion to do so. And essentially they were there to do office work. It's a very important story, but I feel like the movie fails at capturing their importance. And also, the story could have been told in a better and more profound way. But that was my impression. What did you think of it, Acti, after we watched it?
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw the trailer, I was like a bit intrigued because I also loved Kerry Washington as well. Then I saw that it was a Tyler Perry studio movie. I had my doubts, and I think they were reasonable doubts. Yeah, I thought it was very we're about to show this to sixth graders type of movie. I thought it was a very powerful story, but I'm not really sure about the execution. I think it's kind of failed the story because it could have been a stronger, more deeper sense of directory.
Yeah. I mean, the acting overall is good. I think Kerry Washington carries this film, as well as Ebony Obsidian. Her acting is good as well. But some of the other people that show up, I know can act, but I feel like they were just called in to dial it in for a cameo. Like, Oprah Winfrey is in this thing. I don't think she's made a movie since Beloved. And she plays Mary Bethune, the first rich, powerful black woman in industry. And she just has a few lines that come across as very, Hallmark. It's just hammed. It's just, dialed in so much. And, Susan Sarandon plays, Eleanor Roosevelt. And even though she nails the teeth to a T, because Eleanor Roosevelt was known for talking with her mouth open, it just feels very staid, soap opera-ish. That's how it felt. What did you think?
Yeah, at first I was thinking that it was a bit overacted. Yeah, overacted, because it did feel a bit too much, like you said, soapy, I don't know, too much sort of drama and not enough emotion in it. And I was kind of in between, is that because it's the military movie that everyone is shouting? But yeah, I definitely agree that the acting was a bit off. Not Kerry Washington, I like her acting in this, but the other characters, yeah.
So this film actually won a few awards. It was nominated for an Oscar for Best Original Song, The Journey, that was in the film. I was not that impressed by the music in the film.
Yeah.
There were parts in actually where the music came in and it felt a bit weird. There's this one sequence when, the girl, the main character, she has her gas mask on and she runs out of the gas chamber where they're doing drills, and Kerry Washington's character is yelling at her, but then she sees her white dead boyfriend, and then this soft, gentle, sentimental music comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like it was kind of weird at moments. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree. I feel because this is a movie based on an old time, older periods, I feel the music should have matched that, but the music felt very, at times, reality show-ish, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think it could have been more authentic to that time.
And this film won Outstanding Motion Picture at the 56th Annual NAACP Image Awards, and that was in this year, 2025. And it beat these films. It beat Wicked, it beat The Piano Lesson, it beat Bob Marley One Love, and it beat Bad Boys Ride or Die. And I'll be honest, I saw Wicked, I saw Bob Marley, I didn't see Bad Boys, and I haven't seen The Piano Lesson. But I would put Bob Marley One Love over that. And we reviewed Bob Marley One Love.
Yeah.
And even though I have a lot of problems with it, I feel like it's a substantially better film than this. But what do you think about it?
I agree with that. Like, I think we both did not, like, fawn over One Love. Mm-hmm. But I think it was more enjoyable to watch than this one.
Yeah. I fell asleep during this. Let's be frank.
Like 5 times.
Yeah, this is going to be a short review because parts of this film like basically knocked me out. This is good Ambien for me. But not to hate on it too much, let's just walk through this story a little bit. Basically, the movie opens up with, the front line of World War II. There's a soldier charging into battle. A plane crashes in front of him. He pulls out this dead white soldier and, his commander is telling him, leave him, he's dead. But he takes one of his bloody letters that he was planning on sending. He drops the bloody letter into a sack and is transported elsewhere. Then we're brought back in time to the Deep South, I guess, in the 1940s, obviously in the middle of World War II. And this black girl is leaving this high school, which I don't know how this high school is integrated.
It's Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, okay.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania,
whatever. Everybody talks with a southern accent. And Philadelphia is in the northeast, you know what I mean? Makes no sense. So I'm very confused about this film because why is there this one black girl at this all-white school in Philadelphia that looks like it's in Alabama and everybody talks like they're in Mississippi? Anyway, the one black girl we meet, her name is Lena, and she's kind of flirting with this guy whose name is Abram. Abram is, this guy who has a crush on her. He's a white boy. He drives her home from school every day. And, they're talking about Abram going to war in Europe. And we find out Abram is Jewish. He really has beef with Hitler. I wonder how he would feel about Kanye. And, Lena is kind of hesitant on, being with Abram because he's white and they're in the deep south. Sorry, in the deep northeast. What did you think about the opening of the film?
It was a bit cheesy. It was very, I don't see color. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I don't know, the conditions during that time and how they are strolling around the streets. It felt a bit tone deaf,
Bruh, there's parts of if this is in Philadelphia, why are there dirt roads in the middle of the street? They're driving in 1940s Philadelphia and it looks like they're in 1820s Louisiana. What make it make sense?
I mean, I don't know about that much of the history.
Bruh, they have paved roads. We had paved roads, okay?
Okay. Damn. But yeah, it feels a bit too romantic, a bit too naive in a way that's kind of cheesy. Mm-hmm. Their relationship and just how it's pictured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know exactly how to feel about this. I'm looking online and it says that, Lena, the real Lena, lived in Washington, Georgia. So I'm confused if you said Philadelphia. Either way, Washington, Georgia. And she was raised in Philadelphia. Okay, so we're looking on the Wikipedia. Either way, this film makes no sense. And this is one of the major problems, right? Whenever we tell stories about, the past and the racism that people were facing, I hate broad stroking everything as the South. You know what I mean? Whenever we watch some of these movies, there's always the bad white characters and they talk like this. You Negroes need to know not to come around here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that we always do that. And I hate, that a lot of the times they don't show a more nuanced type of racism in these films and really the diversity of experiences black people lived with. Because, of course, there was racism in Philadelphia then, but just make it honest. You know what I mean? Make it real. Make it I don't know, bad Irishmen. You know what I mean? Fucked up Italians. You know what I mean? Like a Spike Lee joint.
Wow. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it is possible that Lena's parents were, you know, from the South, and then they migrated to...
And they brought the South with them?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to, like, save it from some point. But maybe there is no saving grace for this.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so, yeah, basically Lena lives at home with her mom and I guess her grandma. And one of the characters who plays Lena's grandma is this woman who we saw in this TV show called Ruthless. Mm-hmm. Her name is Lynn Odoms, right? And she plays the character Susie is her name in this movie. And the funny thing is, she is Jamaican or like Bahamian, whatever, right? Yeah. But she is forced to like do this Southern accent too in this film. And that really pissed me off. Because she can't nail it. It's like, imagine me trying to do Jamaican patois. It would be really bad. Yeah. Imagine a real Jamaican patois guy trying to sound like, you know, a Mississippi grandma. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
I mean, you know, in Ruthless, also by Tyler Perry, she played like an evil character, right? Mm-hmm. And in this movie, she does seem like so cute.
Yeah, she plays nice grandma.
Yeah. So like there was a bit of a connection error in my head that happened there.
The entire time I was just waiting her to say, "Bring him a boy." Elder mother. Anyway, sorry. There's not much to say about Lena. She's kind of annoying to me. You know, like this goody two shoes Southern gal living in Philadelphia. Her family works for like cleaning other white people's houses in the Deep South. You know, later on in the film, we see that Lena and Abram have like a tender moment at his going away party with all the rich Jews in the city at this big house. And Abram says, you know, I want to, you know, marry you basically when I come back from the war. Just wear this ring and promise me that you'll wait for me and stuff like that. And they kiss for the first time out in the park. Lena's mom sees that and like gets upset. And yeah, she's like, if you're gonna date my daughter, you better do it the right way. He's like, Abram's like, yes ma'am. What did you think about any of those scenes? Like,
yeah, I mean, you know how in some movies we are shown like teenage love, because they are very young here. I think they're in high school, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, when we see like that young love and you just feel the connection or like the magicalness of it, and I feel like here it was missing. Mm-hmm. It felt very like teenage, I don't know, like romance, like a Disney Channel movie or something like that. I don't know.
But don't girls like that? Because, like, you grew up watching stuff like that.
I do, but I don't like it now. Because now I can see it was sort of fake.
Actually, let's be real. Sometimes I walk into your room while you're watching stuff, and I'm like, what is this cheesy thing she's watching? Because it's like, you know, it looks like AI rom-com. Like, I know exactly the story just by looking at the screen.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I still watch it sometimes because that's all they have on Netflix.
I feel like you don't like watching it with me.
It's kind of a guilty pleasure, kind of a lone time girl thing. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I would watch it with you, but I don't think you would enjoy it. So that's why I don't watch it with you.
I mean, any genre, there's probably good stuff in it. I'm sure you know good rom-coms.
Yeah, but that scene felt very like, I don't know, Hilary Duff. It felt very Princess Diaries.
Well, Princess Diaries is a classic.
It is, and Princess Diaries was more genuine in terms of like love relationship than this scene, because it was like, like the guy started singing a song, and it was like the way they were talking. It was too, I don't know, oh, I love you, you know, that kind of talking,
kind of hokey, just over the top.
It just didn't give me that sensation that like they're really in love, you know?
A part of me felt like, you know, with that scene, I feel like, you know, as black people, when we watch like a lot of media, we have to watch like the rom-coms and rom-drams where the characters are all white and stuff like that, right? Like I was watching this YouTube video essayist talk about, I was a little girl growing up watching Twilight and I loved it, but I always felt like something was off because I can never be one of the vampires and stuff like that. And she was explaining, like, in the books, Stephanie Myers, I believe is the author, said explicitly the vampires are only white. And even if a black person is bit, they lose their melanin as a part of the beautification process or something like that.
There was a black vampire
in the movie. In the movie, yes. But in the books, they're all white. Okay. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. I never read the books.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
I wasn't that much of a fan, so I did watch the movies.
But, you know, watching this, it made me feel like this is like, you know, making a film where black girls can be seen in the sense that, you know, not only, you know, the cute tiny little white girl gets to have the guys that all of us are sort of inundated with as the attractive ideal. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you grew up watching all those Disney shows and stuff like that. It's mostly all white, cute little white boys and girls and stuff. Yeah. And you want to be like, I want to be loved like that too.
Yeah.
So that's what I felt like watching that scene.
Yeah, but now, like I said, it doesn't feel real. That's why maybe, like, if you show this to 6th graders, maybe they're going to feel that magic. But I don't know. Because, like, I know that's not how it happens.
Well, because you have your beautiful chocolate melanated man.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the affirmation.
No, that too, of course.
All right. But anyway, man, what happens next? Basically, you know, Abram goes off to war. And it's been months since she's heard from Abram and stuff like that. Nobody is getting their mail. And that's what we start to see throughout this film. Like, other families are waiting for the mailman to come with letters from the front lines. Nothing is coming, right? And so now Lena feels like very depressed. She's been sitting in a room for months. And so then one day she comes downstairs and tells her mama and her grandmama, I'm going to go fight in the war. Wait, I want to go fight Hitler.
I think you fell asleep here because she got a letter saying that Abrams was dead.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, that's another thing. Throughout the film, because in the beginning, I didn't know if Abrams died for real. Okay, go ahead. I fell asleep. I did.
She got a letter from Abrams' family, not from Abrams, but the army, you know, informing them that Abrams was dead. Mm-hmm. And that's why she got depressed, and then eventually she decided to join the army.
Okay, thank you, Acti. But
of course.
All right. But what did you think of, you know, those scenes, you know, when she was depressed and, you know, waiting for Abrams? Anything?
I mean, for me, I already don't like the army that much, but trying to imagine that time, if the army took away the men that I love, I don't think I would be joining the army. Though I wish, like, they did her like a bit of an injustice, because in the classroom we see her, like, you know, going into classes. I don't know if she's in university, possibly she is, but she's like writing a love letter during class, and in the class they're showing like these women you know, in the army, basically. But she's not inspired by that. She's inspired by Abrams being dead and sort of chasing his soul or legacy or whatever down to the military. Not because, you know, she actually wanted to be a soldier. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get that.
It felt bad that she was chasing this boy to military, even though he's dead.
One of the funniest comments you read to me on Letterboxd was, my grandfather sighed every time she cried over this dead white boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, it does seem like a very shallow motivation and almost a bit unrealistic.
Yeah.
But I think that might be a bit disrespectful. I don't know if this is the true Lena story, if she decided to join the military because of this guy. And that's why I think it might be a bit, you know, off, disingenuous, because I think the real Lena Derek Hot Bell King joined because she wanted to actually fight the Nazis, protect her country, etc., etc. Yeah. If anything, what I think would have made this movie a bit more complicated is, or interesting, is like if it's that classic dilemma that black people have with serving the army, right? We're fighting for a country that doesn't love us back, right? All the other World War II movies we watch, like Miracle at St. Anna or The 24th, they deal with that complexity a bit. Yeah. This one doesn't. It's just like, yeah, we're going to go fight. And yeah, they get disrespected and face racism, but they never question the core idea of fighting for America. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And, like, once again, because this is a woman's army movie, it makes these women seem shallow in that sense.
Yeah, because
like they are so focused on being women in the army and being black women in the army that they don't see the hypocrisy of their country.
Yeah, and
I think they did.
Yeah, in real life. Yeah,
but they didn't put it in the screen, you know?
Yeah. I mean, when she gets on the train to go, like, she meets the other ladies there, and they say why they're going, and, like, some of them just say, I'm going for the men, or something like that, or I'm going to get out, like, which is the real reason why some people join the army, too, and that might be real, but then also people also think about, okay, I'm in this thing now, what am I really getting out of it? What am I really doing? Like, what is my true purpose in this thing? So
yeah, and it didn't have to be in the beginning. Yeah, maybe in the beginning there was one like woman who was escaping from her husband, essentially, and another one like doing it for God or whatever. But I think they could have realized that eventually. You know, it didn't have to be right from the start, because like you said, people join the army for many things.
Yeah, most of the time it's just to have enough money to buy a car and not hear your parents talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically they get sent off to basic training camp, and Lena meets this other guy who's there, and he's Hunter.
Hugh, sorry.
Hugh, yeah, Hugh is like kind of flirting with her when she makes it there, and he becomes kind of important to the story later because there's like this chemistry, this spark, obviously. The girls get handed like their military gear and their clothes and stuff like that, and some of the clothes don't fit. One of the funniest lines, I guess, comes from one of the bigger girls who's in the group, and she says, how am I supposed to wear this? These don't fit my titties. And one of the other ladies says, we're in the army now. Have some respect. Speak good English. They're called breasts. And she said, what you got are breasts, them little things. This is Mary and this is Maria, and these is titties. I laughed so hard. That was funny. I know Tyler Perry wrote that line because that was hilarious. But yeah, the girls are like getting adjusted to the army, and then here comes Carrie Bradshaw, Carrie from up the road, I don't know, Kerry Washington.
Thank you.
Kerry Washington. I'm gonna put some respect on her name, but she's picking some bad roles. I feel like I haven't seen her in anything good in a while, and this is not it, Kerry. This is not it. But Kerry Washington comes in, and she's the commander of the battalion, and her name is Major Charity Adams, and she gives a very powerful speech about how, you know, you're black women here, you have to work twice as hard, and we're going to turn you into soldiers, right? And shout out to the real Charity Adams. She really existed, and she was a cutie too. Real cutie.
Yeah.
I'm not popping her balloon. Anyway, what did you think of those? What did you think of those scenes?
Yeah, I actually thought like the main character Lena was playing, I thought that was gonna be Kerry Washington. But then when we're introduced to Kerry Washington, I'm like, oh, finally, maybe she will like bring some good acting into it, and she did. She did, and I like the opening speech that she gave. Yeah, I was wondering if she was gonna be shouting throughout the movie, which she did. But yeah, I mean, the struggles that she was talking about were real, and it was, again, kind of cliche, like, you know, clumsy first day, you know, army woman, like barely being able to dress properly, and, you know, very strict, like Major, that's putting them in line. Yeah, like I saw the montage in front of my eyes when I saw this scene. Yeah,
like you sort of knew where the movie was going, because we've watched some other war movies when it's like, you know, the guys first come to basic training and then they get whipped into shape by the drill sergeant.
Yeah, like I saw the montage, like I knew they were gonna eventually like be very strong and da-da-da.
Let me ask you this. So when I watch movies like Glory, Miracle at St. Anna, 24th, and I see, you know, black men getting like whipped into shape and told to be men and stand up straight and all that sort of stuff, there's a little bit of like inspiration that comes from that. When you look at this and you see, you know, women doing this, does it make you feel any sort of like inspiration, like, you know, like pride?
To get in shape or something?
No, not to get in shape, but to like, you know, to like kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but it's like, you know, be organized or be proud of like seeing women like do things they wouldn't, you know, normally do.
Yeah. I mean, I had a sense like, oh, you know, they can do the stuff that men can do, like, you know, be crawling on the floor and doing push-ups and stuff like that. But not particularly, no. Because I know, in general, like, I know women are strong.
Like, you weren't empowered by those scenes. Like, did you feel empowered by any parts of the movie?
Not really. I felt bad that they were told not to wear makeup, but also shave their legs.
Yeah, but everybody's...
Like, why?
But everybody's face in the movie is, like, beat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they're all, like, supposedly be wearing, like, natural makeup, I guess. Like, I think they were only wearing lipstick sometimes, or that's how they made them to look.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel empowered. Like, my honest opinion, I did not.
You didn't feel empowered by this film?
No. I mean, I felt empowered in this movie, yes, but not, like, the training scenes.
I see. Okay. Yeah, the reason I asked about if it's empowering for you is because, like, I feel a bit empowered watching those films of, like, you know, black soldiers doing great things. But then I also am a bit, like, hesitant because, like I said, there's that dual thing you have in your mind. Like, yeah, they're doing great things, but they're fighting for America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of felt thinking about those scenes. Like, I'm kind of, like, you know, proud of those women for doing this, you know, trailblazing. But at the same time, I'm watching like, that's kind of gross, kind of a bit fashy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, I was like, when all the training was happening, I was feeling a bit, you know, I admire them for like pushing themselves to this like physically and emotionally place. But at the same time, I'm feeling a bit worried and sad that they're not gonna get the opportunity to be out in the field or whatever.
Yeah.
And if that should even happen.
Yeah. Going forward in the story, right? One other thing I didn't like about those training scenes, and basically throughout this movie, is that Kerry Washington's dialogue for her character, Major Charity, is basically like always reminding you what the film is about. We are the ladies of the 666, and we are not expected to be good. We are thought to be dumb and lazy, and we will prove them wrong. And every 15 minutes, it just repeats. Like she does this.
That's what like majors talk about.
I don't know. I find it very hard to believe like she would talk woke speech back then. You know what I mean? Like basically like one BLM tweet. Like
it wasn't woke speech. That's how she lived her life.
I know
that was her life.
Yeah, I just felt like it was a bit too on the nose. To me, it was on the nose.
It was okay for me. Like I didn't mind it that much.
Yeah, but you know the basic training scenes were good. There's a little bit of beef between Lena and one of the other characters. I forgot her name.
Johnny May.
Yeah, Johnny May. She's like the sassy big black friend. You know, I didn't like how they kind of like made her that way. But yeah, she's always like teasing Lena because she's like asleep at nights, you know, asking for Abram and stuff like that. But she's like the funniest character. I kind of like her as a character. She's the best.
Yeah, I mean, she's the person who's actually from the South in the group.
In the actual group? Yes. In the actual casting?
Yeah, no. And like the other girls are like, one of them are like the daughter of a preacher, and they are like all educated and stuff like that. But I think, you know, Johnny May might not have been to school, like to college or high school or whatever. So they're kind of like also looking down on her, but Johnny May is like this brutally honest person, you know, and she says it like how she sees it. Yeah.
I liked her frankness, her honesty, the way the main actress, what was her name? Shanice Williams, like the way she carried the character.
Yeah.
She did really well. And moving forward in the story, you know, basically there's this woman hanging outside the White House all day. And Eleanor Roosevelt pulls up in her house and says to her butler, like, why is there a Karen outside my door? And the butler is like, she's been waiting here like 2 days, ma'am. And she's like, take care of it. And so basically, the butler finds out that the woman has been, you know, not receiving mail, you know, from her son or husband that went to go fight in the war. And Eleanor Roosevelt says, oh, this is a travesty. And so later on, like, FDR, his wife, and Mary McLeod Bethune, played by Oprah, all sit in the Oval Office with the generals of the army and talk about how mail not being delivered is still a major problem. And the generals are saying, like, we have to focus on the war. And then Oprah gives this like rousing speech which says like, we can do it. There's a group of black women soldiers who are able to do it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, everybody's just like, okay. What did you think of those scenes?
Yeah. I mean, I liked it, I guess, because I don't know that much about, like, the Roosevelts, because I'm not an American, don't come for me. So, yeah, but it was a bit, like, again, cliche. Like, this movie is very cliche.
Yeah.
In the sense that, yeah, like, the general that was there, General Holt, played by Dean Norris, he was, like, in-your-face racist. Like, he was Southerner as well.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I don't think black women have the capacity to do this very complex job. And, yeah. And, Eleanor Roosevelt and Mary McLeod, like, making eye contact, thinking, like, this racist guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was okay.
Part of me feels like this film was meant to come out during the Kamala years. Like, because this movie was probably made gearing up, knowing that Joe Biden, is going to step down and Kamala is going to take the lead. And this film was going to be like, see, black women can do it. Black women can save the day. And, it turns out they can save the day. But we just really like General Holtz.
Yeah.
We really love old racist white men in charge.
It is a 2024 movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know which month it came.
I don't know exactly, but basically America had the choice between like Oprah and Kerry Washington or like, General Holt and and Greg Sulkin. Greg Sulkin would be like JD Vance.
Wow.
And so yeah, we love old racist white people and like generally attractive white men. Conventionally attractive white men.
Wow, okay.
Is what America likes. Oh man, I'm really struggling to like find a lead in this story.
There isn't a lot to talk about. There isn't a lot to like other than it being cheesy.
Yeah, really cheesy. But basically, there's this scene in the movie theater afterwards when Major Charity faces racism from like this soldier under her. He calls her like the N-word in front of her battalion while they're in a movie theater. Also, Lena keeps on getting hit on by the other black soldier named Hugh, who literally says, I'm about to get married tomorrow, but can I fuck with you? And so
that was sort of creepy. Like, I have to point that out because she said, you don't know anything about me. And then he started basically listing all the facts about her. Yeah. So it felt a bit stalker-ish.
Yeah. Well,
that how did he learn that, she doesn't like milk and all these sorts of things about her?
It was the 40s, man. You could do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
He could have slapped her right then and there.
Wow. But, like, just all throughout the movie, you're seeing, like, Major Charity Adams being treated like shit by other like white soldiers, white men specifically, and she has to suck it up and not say anything because of the ranking, and she also has to like she feels like she has this need to always keep her composure, don't be ratchet and all of that stuff, in order to stay in the army, basically. Because if she does one mistake, she could, get kicked out easily.
Yeah. I think, for anybody who says, oh, all black women are ratchet and stuff like that, when Major Charity holds it together, and then when she went to go report the soldier who was, racist to her, the general she reported to said, calm down, bitch. Like, she walked in there and he's like, can you hold it down? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that goes to show, like, those respectability politics, they never work because, like, they'll never be good enough. You know what I mean? So just might as well be yourself. But basically, when she goes to report the racist incident, that's when she finds out that the 688 Battalion is getting sent to Europe to fix the mail situation, right? So, when she's on the airplane flying over the ocean, she realizes that they don't have any War Department plans. So they're not going to go fight. They're going to be doing something else, right? and also her soldiers are getting led across the ocean in a ship. And they could be attacked by German submarines and stuff like that. So the girls that are coming aren't being protected by anybody. They just sort of have to hope that they don't get killed out in the ocean. Meanwhile, General Charity, Major Charity, is with the all-white commanders of the army, and they're like disrespecting her to her face and basically being racist and telling her that they're going to have substandard housing. Any comments there?
Yeah, it's it's kind of in your face, obvious, like what the messaging is. Mm-hmm. That like these women have to face a lot of things. I mean, like that ship scene was brutal because it was like usually soldiers have escort ships and they did not have that. So it was like, America is doing everything they can to prevent these women from accomplishing the mission, and also like basically trying to kill them. Yeah. Like by an accident, or trying to like starve them, or very, very demoralize them so that they would fail. Yeah. And I know like it's something, especially back then, but even today, that's something a lot of black people face. Mm-hmm. Like this sort of demoralization. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, now like we saw sort of like the woman side, because there aren't a lot of like woman in war movies like this. Yeah, there are very few. And I think it was showing like certain needs of women, but how they are able to, find those needs by themselves, and how they are able to create like homes and security for themselves without the help of a man. Yeah, and that's what I think. This is when I think the movie actually got a bit better. When the second half comes, they go to Europe and they're away from the American context. I don't know why. Maybe it got better for me in the sense that maybe, because it's in a foreign land, now it can be as unrealistic as it wants to be. You know what I mean? Because like when they were in America, it didn't make sense. Like Philadelphia, dirt roads, southern accents. You know what I mean? Like down south, home cooking in the middle of Pennsylvania. Like what? Like they don't make no sense. But when they go to the UK, I'm like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, old elementary school that looks like it was from the 17th century. Like yeah, they're renovating it. Okay, sure, but yeah, I liked those scenes like on that boat, because that was like terrifying. I was imagining like if I was in that situation, like I would be seasick as hell. And it was just funny seeing all those women like rock back and forth in the boat. Yeah. Like I just imagine like shooting that day was hella fun. Loki, they just got in like this giant contraption at Tyler Perry Studios, and then he has like 20 people from the Rockadooshi set just like rock the boat back and forth. They're still wearing their like purple robes and stuff. Wow, is that like the lack of fun? Yeah, man, this movie's ghetto as hell. Parts of this movie are ghetto as hell. I know they spent most of the money on just getting the white actors. Damn. But yeah, it was cool, man. This part was cool. But basically, when they make it to Europe, Major Charity finds out that damn, there are like warehouses after warehouses after warehouses packed up with letters in boxes and sacks and stuff like that. They have 17 million letters to sort through. And when the girls finally make it to Europe, like it's a culture shock because it's like very, very cold. A lot of them are from the deep south, aka Baltimore, and as an American joke, okay. And from New York. So they're like not accustomed to this weather, I guess. And there's this kind of cool scene when the girls are like marching off of the boat and marching through bombed out UK. I like that scene. What did you think about any of those, if anything? Yeah, I liked it too. And that's also was one of the things like General Hull did to demoralize them again. Because after that ship ride, they were expected to march through the streets, possibly like for an hour or maybe more, right? They didn't have any vehicles picking them up. They landed in a foreign country that they do not know, that is war-torn. So I can imagine like just how much, emotion and anxiety that's probably created for these women or any person, like just in general. But they were trained so well by Major Charity Adams that like they were so proud, so perfect, like marching the streets and it like. And the sad part is, like, we see General Holt there, and he's looking at them, and he knows they are perfect, but he can't say anything.
He's a hater.
He's a hater, so yeah.
Big
that
hater.
was the sad part.
Big hater. I just really like the aerial shots, like how it looked, you know what I mean? That was actually done really well. Yeah. So shout out to that part at least. But yeah, man, so they end up making camp at this like old elementary school or something in the UK, and it's like totally destroyed. There's like rats everywhere, and there's like a woman montage where they basically like girlify the place. Like like the estrogen levels are through the roof. Like everything is perfectly sorted in this place. Like,
you know, you want to be there.
I know I want to be there, but it was just funny because like the funniest part was like they set up like the hair heaters. You know what I mean? Like at a hair salon. Like
that was so funny. You gotta motivate your girls. Like, you know, that's part of it. And plus, I like how they started it. Like Major Charity Adams said, like, we have made a house from scratch before. Our mothers build houses from scratch, from zero before. Yeah. So that's something women do all the time. They create homes. Like wherever a woman is, there is a home. Yeah. So that was surreal to me. Like, you know, I wouldn't be I wasn't surprised by that part of it. Like I could see that happening in real life. Yeah. You know?
Well, it did happen in real life. But I don't know if it was a quick montage, and I don't know if they had the hair dryers. The hair dryers just threw me through the loop because I was like,
I was
that's
thinking,
too
where
much.
did they find
exactly?
That?
They found the perfect hair dryer. I was like, what is that? That's crazy.
Like, also at the time, how many black people are in Glasgow?
I know, right? Where did they find the hair care products? Right? Like, I don't know. Another thing I have to say, like throughout the film, Lena is haunted by the ghost of Abram, right? And he pops up at weird scenes. Like one time she's like washing her hands, and then like Abram creeps up behind her, and he like says, "Hey, you want to fuck?" Because he like pokes her in the back with that thing. And she's like, "Abram, stop!" You know what I mean? So there was these just weird scenes, and like, I don't know, the guy who plays him, Greg Sulkin, he just comes across like a bit slimy to me, man. Something about him just looks off.
He was actually in Disney.
He was in Disney, so he knows this like
Disney
acting
Channel.
Style. He knows this like style of acting.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, I think he was like after my generation of Disney Channel, because I didn't see him that much, but I saw him in like one movie or something. I
see.
But yeah.
He looks like he would be a hit at a Diddy party.
I think. Wow, I didn't like him appearing full on and them having full on conversations. Yeah. I wish it was more like a sound or a vision or, you know, how, you know, you see the sun coming from the window and you know that's like your dead boyfriend. I wish it was more subtle and not like him, you know, poking her from behind.
Okay. Is that how you think of me acting? Like when you see like a little bird like flying through the sky, you're like, oh, Simon's thinking of me. Is that how women think?
You're not dead, Simon.
No, I'm just saying, like if we're distant or far away. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, look at the cloud in the sky. Simon's thinking about me.
No, bro. That was before the internet. Now I see some memes and I'm like, this is Simon.
Okay. That's good to hear. So you think of me when you think of memes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, but yeah, basically, you know, they make it to the UK and they're going through, you know, different struggles as well. Like, you know, they're still not getting enough recognition or respect for the job they have to do. The job they have to do is very difficult because sometimes rats have eaten through the letters and stuff like that. And, you know, the letters have been sitting for so long, some of them are molded. So there's issues there. They have this party one time at the camp, and you know, Major Charity starts to flirt with some guys, and while all the other girls are drinking and dancing and having fun, and then a chaplain comes. He's sent there by General Holt to, like, you know, be the preacher for this event. And also Lena and Hugh have like this heart-to-heart conversation where essentially like Lena says like, I don't know if I can love you or if I can be with you or something like that. Yeah, what did you...
Yeah, she basically says that she lost someone and she's not ready for a romantic relationship. Yeah. And Hugh offers to be friends. Yeah. And they become friends.
Mm-hmm. And because also she lost somebody, she gets really upset when they're cleaning out the letters and throwing out dog tags. And she's like, those are people that died. Show some respect. And so that's when they all find out that Abram died, and the girls like, coalesce around her and sympathize with her. What did you think of any of those scenes?
I don't know how much I like the side story of Lena with the letters. And with Abrams, like, it's at some point I was hoping she would just relax and fuck Hugh. Like, it was just like getting too much, a bit like too cheesy. It was cheesy to begin with, but I think the part where like this pastor shows up and stuff like that was intriguing, because I was like, wait, like, who is he? Of course, I could guess why they sent him there.
I thought he was going to be a good guy, actually.
Me too.
Like, he's going to be like the cool white guy, like white savior-ish.
Yeah. No, I didn't understand he was a priest in the beginning, because he said, I'm here to assist you. Mm-hmm. So I thought he was going to help them deliver the mail or something. Mm-hmm. And then he turned out to be an evil priest.
Yeah.
Which is not like,
Which is interesting, because like later on, the preacher goes into the pulpit on Sunday and says basically like, I came here and this place is run like a hoe house.
Yeah. And like, throughout like the whole mail situation, it's like 10 months worth of mail, right? So it's insanely complicated, and because they can't read the letters, they send some of the letters back to the sender. But then the soldiers one of the generals get upset about that, because it was like from his family or something. So yeah, like they're roasted, and specifically Charity Adams, the major, is being roasted for every single mistake that like she does, despite like her job being very, very, very extremely hard.
Yeah.
Every time they threaten to like kick her out of the army, they threaten to like close the whole operation down and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's parts of this film that I like, or that have the potential to be better, I guess. And it's like that scene when that white general walks in there and he's yelling at Major Charity in front of her whole battalion and stuff like that. It's just something about like the way it's shot. You know what I mean? Kerry Washington is doing her thing, though sometimes her faces can be a bit exaggerated. You know, there's something about the way she like does that crying, angry face she does that seems a bit strange. But, I felt like that scene could have been so elevated more if it was just, I don't know, done by a different director with different, I don't know, just something is off in this thing. It comes across soap opera-ish.
I like her faces because that struggle to not cry is there. And, because she's in the army, I think it's almost like it's forbidden for her to cry, especially in front of a white man, Yeah. So, that holding back, I feel like it's real. And those faces are not pretty.
Yeah, they're not. So, basically just wrapping up the story, right? The ladies actually end up doing an amazing job with the mail. They were given like 6 months originally to do it, and they finish it actually in 90 days, so half the time, right? But basically the climax of the movie is like General Holt is coming in there to do an inspection, and Major Charity is saying like, we got this whole operation going so well. We have girls working 24 hours a day, and my battalion here is just my day shift. Right, because the night shift is asleep. And General Holt says, I came to inspect. You don't have everybody here? That's odd. Okay, well, let me go inside. And he's like, tries to go into a room, and he says, and Major Charity's like, oh, the women are like taking a shower. I don't think you can go in there. And so General Holt looks at his guy and says, tell her that I came to inspect everything, and if I want to inspect it, I will. And I'm not gonna lie, if I was General Holt, I would have walked in there.
Wow. Of course.
I would have said, I will. I came to do it. I'm gonna look. I thought that's where the film was gonna go. That would have been so dope if he did that. Like, not dope, but it's like, okay, Tyler Perry is back.
That would have been ruthless.
That would have been Tyler Perry. So, like, remember at Divorce in Black, like, picking the casket up and, like, taking the body out of the casket? That would have been so Tyler Perry. It would have been so dope. But the movie held back. This is a problem with this movie. It has the potential to turn like a stupid, silly, not trying to disrespect the women who actually did this, but like a boring kind of melodramatic office drama into like Tyler Perry, what the fuck is him? Like there was possibility there. Like imagining the girls opening the letters and be like reading them like late at night sometimes. Like, oh, Norma Jean, when I see you, I'm going to tap that ass. And, like, all the girls just like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, laughing at some of the jokes. And I think that would have been funny as hell. Because they opened up the letters. You know some of them letters were nasty as hell.
I guess.
When I see you, girl, I'm going to suck your toes. Ooh, girl, he nasty. What's his name?
Yeah, but it's a serious movie.
It's a serious movie, but there could have been some fun in it.
Okay, I don't know about that.
Anyway, long story short, General Holt, tries to like disrespect Major Charity during the inspection, and he says like, you must be crazy opening the letters of white soldiers. And she's like, we did it to find out who they are. And she's like, I'm gonna get a good white man to come in here to make sure this operation is run correctly. And she says, over my dead body. And he's like, what'd you say, bitch? And so she's like, me and my women have been working hard day and night to do everything right, and all we do is get disrespected. We know we're fighting a war, but our first war is being Negroes. And he's like, okay. And so he walks away. And basically all the women stop work and they clap for Major Charity. What did you think about basically the climax of this film?
Yeah, I like the climax. Once again, it wasn't anything out of the box, because I think we've seen those scenes where like the main character basically gets disrespected over and over again, and then there's this explosion, right? Where she lays out everything and defends herself. That was that. I think she did a good job, acting in that scene. And it was emotional when like the soldiers started clapping for her, because she thought like she felt bad for disrespecting the General Holt, because she was like, oh, I'm gonna get like them in trouble, I'm gonna get myself in trouble, I shouldn't have done that, I should have controlled myself. But then she realizes, no, like she did a good thing by defending herself and also defending her woman. So they appreciated her standing up for them. And I think that was like a realization that happened with Major Charity, that she was like, okay, maybe not being cordial all the time is helpful. Like sometimes you gotta defend yourself and explode. Yeah,
I thought that last monologue from Kerry Washington was delivered very well. That was probably her best performance throughout the film. That was the dialogue that was kind of the least cringy, but I didn't like once again those faces she made standing on stage while everybody was clapping. It felt a bit cheesy for me. She
just has a struggle with crying.
Yeah, no, but she just does this like tortured face, like the face of like smelling like an open diaper for the first time if you're not used to it. You know what I mean? It just comes across very, I don't know, tortured. It's just a tortured face.
I mean, it's a sad face.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree. Anyway, end of the movie, we see like, the white World War II soldiers getting their letters all the time, all over the place. People happy and crying because they finally found out what their loved ones are doing or saying to them. And we also see the real Lena Derricotte read a letter about her life story.
Wait, also before that, when they are leaving or when they are in like somewhere, and white soldiers ask them like, are you the 6888? And they say yes. And I don't know if you remember, but the guy who disrespected them in the theater, he said that he would never like bow down to her and salute her, and he ends up saluting her because he has to. So that's also like a bit of a revenge taken there,
Yeah. I feel like a lot of this film is basically like latent sexual tension between black women and the white men that don't want them.
No, I don't think that.
That's what the film felt like a little bit.
Anyway, let's continue.
So why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me? Anyway, long story short, the real Lena Derricotte who lived to 100 years old. She unfortunately died last year. But she's like reading her letter about her life and everything like that. And she was actually awarded a gold medal and everything. And the film then has like a montage of like the actual footage of the real, charity, Major Charity Adams, and her, marching the soldiers and everything, and the history of the 688, sorry. And it was kind of that part was a bit more inspiring than the actual film. You know what I mean? I wish maybe it could have been a documentary instead of the live action. But what did you think of that?
Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, the story itself is inspiring. And when we come to the ending and we see like the original footage, we find out that like they were also not recognized at the time when they returned to the United States, and they were recognized years later, I think during Obama's term. Mm-hmm. And like she was also saying, we were recognized and respected more in Europe, rather than the United States. As well as like Charity Adams was like the first woman to be honored. First black woman to be honored in the U.S. Army and stuff like that. Like something was named after her, right? So like those sorts of things, they were very inspiring, and they actually ended up like staying in the World War and did something else, or sorted out like other males within Europe as well, and stuff like that. So definitely ending was the best part. Actually, I might agree with you that maybe this should have been a documentary rather than a movie. And I think like making it a bad movie about it sort of takes away the glory of it.
I think maybe the film might inspire somebody to... I mean, it's important to tell these stories regardless, right? Yeah. And whether it's a bad movie or... not too bad of a movie. Like, if this was a Tubi movie, I'd be pissed. Like, if they shot this on, like, an iPhone 7 and said, here's the story of the 6888, no. At least they, put some effort into it, right? Yeah. It didn't come out the best. Hey, that's how it is making movies, right? Yeah. But just going in a little bit, something I found interesting about Charity Adams early, she was the highest ranking African-American woman in the Army by the completion of the war, which is amazing. And also, she unfortunately died in 2002 at the age of 83 in Dayton, Ohio. But in her personal life, she married a guy named Stanley, and they moved to Switzerland while Stanley, completed medical school, and then they decided to go to Ohio, which I think is one of the biggest fails of all time.
Why? Because she married a white dude?
No. Who knows? I'm pretty sure Stanley is black. It's the fact you moved to Switzerland and then lived in Ohio. That's a fail. That's a major fail. I'm sorry. And about Lena Derricott. Basically, Lena Derricott went to go study in Leicester in England. And she was studying design, but she eventually became a nurse and worked and lived in Los Angeles with her husband. And, eventually died back in 2024 at the age of like 101. Oh, so one day before her 101st birthday. Wow. So anyway, very inspirational stories. Shout out to them and their legacies. And shout out to also Ebony Obsidian, who looks like Kelly Rowland. Would this movie be better if Kelly Rowland played Lena?
No, she's too old.
She's too old?
Yeah.
How old is Lena? Oh, nobody knows her age. I hate when people hide their ages on Wikipedia. But we can tell you're 45.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm giving this movie a 4.5.
4.5? Yes. I give it a solid 4.
Yeah. No disrespect to all the women who actually was in like this war. I think they are inspirational. But yeah, just the direction of the movie, the way it was shot, and a bit of the acting was a bit, wonky for me. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. So yeah, I give it a solid 4 as well. And just to let everybody know, this was an acting choice. This was an acting pick.
Thanks. But you picked Thanks for putting me in the spot.
But you picked the next movie, so you have a better chance next time. Better luck. All right. Well, this has been Simon and Acting Movie Reviews. Stay subscribed for more content. If you have a film you think we should review, put it in the comments. And also subscribe to Backpack Bandits as well. Y'all be easy. Peace.